Hey guys, so I am so excited to bring this video to you guys today. This is a beautiful cranberry red look for fall. I was so excited to finally do something for fall, and my sister was hanging out over my house again, so I was really excited to also do her makeup again because her skin is perfect and her eyes are amazing, and this makeup look is like insane on her. So I hope you guys enjoy the video, and let's get started. So I'm starting off with the Farsali Rose Gold Elixir and just putting a couple drops all over her face and rubbing that in. I just like this because it really moisturizes the skin and gives a nice like slippery base for the foundation to blend onto, and I find foundation blends in a lot easier when I put that on. I'm then going to take the Hyper Real foundation in the shade Gold Effects, and this has become my favorite kind of prep for foundation to get a nice kind of glowy skin look. It leaves a super glowy finish but also a very smooth kind of base before you put your foundation on, so I love that. I'm then going to take the Born This Way concealer from Too Faced and apply a thin layer of this all over her eyelid as a base for the eyeshadow to prime. But then I'm also going to add MAC lipstick in the color Instigator as a colored base to really help the shadows pop. So I'm putting a light layer of that all over the eyelid, and then I'm taking this MAC 217 brush and buffing this out. I kind of take my time with this to get it nice and blend it out, and then wipe off the brush as needed to make sure there's not too much lipstick on the eye. So then I'm going into the Emily Edit palette, and this is the Wants palette, and I'm taking the color Cheer, and I'm going to start by pressing that all over the lid area with the same 217 and buff it out very lightly towards the crease. And then after that, I'm going to take the shade Love Tons, also from the same palette, and press that in the crease area and use that as my blending shade. So I'm pressing it on and then really buffing that out. I'm then going to take the shade Pi Phi and use that right in the outer corner just to add a little bit of depth using the exact same brush still, and really blend that in to give the eye a little bit of like shading. I'm then going to take the shade Prayer, and this will be our kind of blending transition shade, and I'm going to use this in really big motions with the MAC 224 just to really buff out the edges of the whole eye look. I really went up towards the brow and then really far out on the side of the eye as well. So now I'm taking the NYX liquid liner, this is the matte one, and just applying a pretty thick winged eyeliner. And then I'm taking the shade Bonnie from the Melt Cosmetics Gemini palette, and I first packed that right along the liner, and then I started to buff it out in sort of this little wedge shape in the outer corner, and then going in and blending it with that same blending brush we used before. And then I basically just layered this. I packed the color mostly right there in the corner, leaving the tip of the liner really pointy on the end, and also leaving the liner more defined on the inner corner, and then just fading the black into the liner right there in the center. So now I'm going to take the Esqido liner in the shade Black. This has become my absolute favorite liner. It's just insanely waterproof, stays on all day long. And so I put that in the waterline, and now I'm smudging it out with a MAC 242 brush. And then after I smudged that out, I took a little bit more of the Born This Way concealer and just applied that under her eye to even out the skin tone and give a base for the eyeshadow. And then I am taking the same shades from the top and putting them on the bottom. So starting with Cheer, and then taking a blending brush, the same one I used on top, with the shade Love Tons to buff that underneath. And then the shades Pi Phi as well as the black shade Bonnie, really close to the lash line to add some more depth. Then I'm going to go in with some mascara. This is the MAC in Extreme Dimension mascara. I didn't use lashes on her because her lashes are naturally very thick and long and curly, so I decided just to go for mascara this time. And then I'm taking the shade Heartbeat and wetting it with just a little bit of Fix Plus and pressing that on the lid as a shimmery base for the glitter I'm going to put on next. I just wanted a little bit of a shimmery base first. And then I'm going to go in with the MAC glitter. I believe this is Reflex Copper, but I will make sure and put it down below. And I'm taking this in a MAC 242, and I'm getting just a little bit of the glitter. I'm not saturating her lid in a thick layer of very opaque glitter. It's basically so when she turns her head, you just see kind of particles that are like sparkling. That's what I like about Reflex. It doesn't give you like a super full-on glitter look. You just get more of a sparkly finish. So I put that on the lid with a little bit of Fix Plus, and then I'm just putting some mascara on her lower lashes and moving on to her face. So I'm using my Beauty Blender foundation in the shade 2.4 on her. and just blending that in, obviously with a beauty blender sponge, and giving, obviously she doesn't need this like super full coverage, but I just wanted a very kind of evened out, flawless look to her skin. So I just blended that all over. And then I'm taking the Too Faced Born This Way concealer again and just putting the tiniest little dab, as you can see, right in that corner of her under eye area, just to kind of further even out and brighten up right under her eyes. Not that she necessarily needed it, but it kind of ties everything together. Next, I'm going to set under her eyes and the center of her face with the Maybelline Fit Me loose powder in the lightest shade, which I believe is Fair. Has been my absolute favorite powder lately, and it gives such an airbrushed finish, so I love this. So I just press that in with a beauty blender under her eyes and then in the center of her face. And then I'm taking the Fast Base Foundation Stick from Makeup Revolution in the shade F12 to contour. I initially went in here with some lines, which were really hard to blend out because I don't know why I did that. I totally prefer the way I'm doing it at this point, which is where I just grab it on my little Real Techniques brush and then blend it onto the face. It works way easier than just like drawing lines all over your face and then trying to blend out those lines. So I highly recommend doing it this way if you want it to blend in a lot easier. And then I'm taking the contour shade from my Makeup Forever palette I made the other day. I believe this is S112, if I remember correctly, and just applying that to add a little bit of depth that isn't warm. So this just added more of a grayish true shade to her cheekbone. I'm then taking Exposed Blush from Tarte and blending that on my cheek area with a MAC 168 and just blending that in to give a soft bit of blush. I did go in with a little more blush at the end, which I will show you as well. And then to highlight, I am using the MAC Hyper Real Glow powder in the lighter kind of pinky toned shades. And I'm taking the two end colors, mixing them together, and applying that on her cheekbone with this Morphe Rose Gold brush. I'm not sure of the number, but it's in the Rose Gold collection. And I apply that as I would on myself, just on the cheekbones, and then right down the center of the face as well, just to give a really beautiful glow to the skin and kind of amp up the base glow we did under the foundation. So here comes the fun part. I did decide to do a bleached brow look on her. Her eyebrows were already fairly light, so this technique works easily just using some concealer. This is, which one is this? I think this is the Makeup Revolution concealer in the shade C4, if I recall. And I'm just taking that on a MAC spoolie brush and running that through the brows. And I run the same direction as the brows, but then I also go backwards, if you saw me do that, because it really coats all the hairs. And then I applied some Bite Beauty lip mask. The Instigator shade, I put that on as well, first as a base. And then after I put a little bit of that on, I like to go in with the liner to perfect the edges. So I used Nightmoth Pencil from MAC. And whenever I'm doing this sort of lip, I like to put a little bit of the lipstick on first and then go in with the liner, and then I go in with lipstick again and kind of go back and forth to really perfect it. Dark lips definitely are a lot harder to do on other people because it takes so much patience and like perfecting. And then I went around with just a little bit of the Too Faced Born This Way concealer just to clean up the edges. So once I put the lip on, I realized she didn't have enough color in her cheeks, so I just went in with a little bit of Breath of Plum blush from MAC just to amp up the color in her face, and that is the final look. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you love this look as much as I do, because this is like my obsession. I can't wait to put this on myself as well. I'm absolutely in love with it. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.